Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. For the record, it's October 9th, 2025, and the time is 6:30 p.m. I'll proceed with the roll call, Commissioners, so when I call your name, please say here or present. Chairperson Bobby Barnes.
Here.
Vice Chair David Horwath.
Here.
Commissioners Linda Tom,
Here.
Eric Beilstein,
Present.
Shauna Verrett,
Here.
Joe Markling is not present, and Bobby Bailly is not present. With 5 members of the P&Z present, a quorum is declared.
Thank you, Christina. Will we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? David, you want to start it for us, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Bear with me. I have not had a good night's sleep yet, so we'll try to do our best going through this. The first thing is the Citizens and Guests Forum for anyone who wanted to speak. I see nobody has signed up. Anybody here would like to speak? And seeing that there's very few here, that I will assume nobody's racing to the podium, so I'm going to assume there's no one who would like to speak. So then let's go on to our consent agenda. And the only thing on our consent agenda is the approval of the September 11th, 2025 meeting of the P&Z. This was a meeting I was not in the country, so I believe it's in our packet, correct? Yes. So anybody see any problems with it, and do you want to make a motion to approve? Huh?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The minutes in the packet appear to be correct.
Okay.
I can't hear you again, sorry. It's all good.
The minutes are good in the packet.
Okay, so a motion to accept the minutes on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September
Okay.
11th.
And a second?
A
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. I heard too many yays, so I said no too fast, but that's okay. With the small group. The next item, item number 5 on our agenda, is that we are conducting a public hearing on the proposed amendment to the comprehensive plan to designate the land use classification as community facilities for approximately 2.923 acres located at 329 Ammon Road. And if I'm under the correct assumption, this is very similar to something we did on another property where we have to amend the comprehensive plan, and then there's a second step involved, and so we'll have a second public hearing also on that. So with that, it is now 6:34. I'd like to open a public hearing on this topic, and I want to turn it over. And I guess, Jessica, you're on.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, commissioners, and good evening, attendees. My name is Jessica Relucio, city planner for the city of Fair Oaks Ranch. This item is a public hearing that for a city-initiated Flume future land use map amendment for about 2.9 acre parcels and corrected similar to a previous project too. This item begins on page 5 of your agenda packet as well. The applicant and property owner is the city of Fair Oaks Ranch. The city proposes to amend the future land use map within the comprehensive plan, specifically the Flume designation to community facilities for 2.923 acres located at the southern portion of 329 Ammon Road, Kendall County. For a brief history of the property, the city purchased the area June 16, 2025. The annexation began with the public hearing and first reading on August 21st, and then had the final approval on September 4th by City Council as well. The next step is a flume designation, which is this item here, to community facilities. And what does that mean? The future land use map is within the comprehensive plan, which is a living and breathing document that can change throughout time depending on the circumstances. Examples of previous amendments include the Arbors in 2020, Oak Bend Estates in 2024, and recently Post Oak. The process to amend the comprehensive plan, including the future land use map, is public hearings through P&Z and City Council. Here's a closer look of the Flume future land use map in an imagery view to show the area as undesignated. It's highlighted in red and white inside to show undesignated. Next, in this next slide here, you can see the proposed community facilities designation as gray. And what is community facilities? It's shown here on the left, and it is intended for facilities that provide governmental, religious, educational, healthcare, social services, and special facilities. And it's also designed to be for larger scale civic use buildings. And the proposed use of the area is to be for an elevated storage tank for municipal water. The criteria for reviewing this item includes to ensure that the flume designation is consistent with the proposed use and to ensure supportive documents and references within the comprehensive plan, including the principles, goals, and objectives, specifically environmental protection, economic development, and civic and public spaces. Specifically, these bulleted points here below that show preserve and protect waterways and floodplains, preserve and protect surface and groundwater resources and hydrologically active areas, promote and encourage water conservation practices, promote quality development that is compatible with neighboring areas and is consistent with community character, and create sustainable value through form and function, and lastly, ensure civic buildings and civic spaces are given prominent sites, as stated in the comprehensive plan. Next, as part of the criteria for review within the UDC, we have, for reference, the City Council will consider the following to take action on the proposed amendment: that the amendment promotes the health, safety, or general welfare, is consistent with the future land use map element, including goals and objectives as mentioned previously, is in alignment with the Unified Development Code, and other criteria deemed relevant and important by the City Council. Next, for public notices and comments as required, on September 19th, there were mailers sent out to property owners within 200 feet of the property and public entities informing them of the Flume amendment. On September 21st, a newspaper article notice was published as well. September 22nd, a city's website notice was released. And then lastly, September 23rd, a sign was posted on site as well. Finally, for the next steps, on November 6th, City Council will conduct a public hearing on the Flume amendment and the zoning designation and possible action on the first reading of each ordinance. Then to follow November 20th is the City Council will consider and act on the final reading of an ordinance. Thank you, and staff is available for any questions. Yes, sorry.
On page 10, you're showing the proposed building map. And you've got the entire section, the entire front is in red.
Is your mic on, sir?
I have no idea. No.
Oh, let me go back.
Here.
There. There it is. But it's blinking.
So the proposed map, is this a similar map to what you're referring to here?
Well, what I'm asking is that it shows that the entire corner of that is in red. And it looks as though they turned to gray only for the small portion at the bottom. Is that correct?
So the subject property that we are amending is the one that's bordered around in the red box. The one above on the corner is pink with darker pink diagonals,
And that's ETJ.
and that is ETJ, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Mine's up here.
All right, so all we're talking about is that small,
That small little
small
box.
area.
Yes. Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jessica? Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there anybody in the audience who would like to make a comment? Have their 5 minutes? Seeing that there are none, is there any discussion? Oh, I guess we close the meeting next, I'm sorry. Bearing that there's nobody here and nobody speaking on it, the public testimony, then I would like to close the public hearing, and it's 6:42. I did remember the time. It's 6:42 to close the public hearing, and we can move on to item 6, which is the consideration and possible action regarding a recommendation to the City Council on a proposed amendments to the comprehensive plan to designate the land use classification as community facilities for that approximate 2.923 acres in the southern portion of 329 Ammon Road, Kendall County. Okay, is there any discussion we want to have? And I should begin the discussion. Bobby Bally is not here, but he did send in comments, and he said that he strongly supported the approval of items 6 and 8 as is, and I state that even before any public testimony or opinion for the following reasons. And he combined the two items, which we'll have another public hearing on the second one. The two cities, Bernie and Fair Oaks Ranch, have exhausted their time and efforts into developing this project over the past several years. The project makes so much sense for all constituents in both Bernie, Fair Oaks Ranch, and the county. Although we may receive objection to a water tower being placed next to one or two of the county residents' property, it is obvious that it is now our P&Z Commission duty to follow due process that has been placed before us that will provide a well-thought-out plan in providing services to the citizens we represent. These amendments to the comprehensive plan and current zoning as written and presented to us preserve and protect our future water supply, ensure civic buildings and civic spaces are given prominent sites, and promote the health, safety, and general welfare of the city and the safe, orderly, and healthful development of the city. I thought that was so well written, I needed to read that to you all. So that was the comment from Bobby Bally. Any comments from anybody here?
I remember, I want to say it was the beginning of 2023, when the first comments came out that we were going to have to build a elevated tank for fire control. Well, from what I remember of that time, there were a series of, the decision was being made that it was going to be placed inside Stone Oak. Now, the Stone Oak residents all objected to that, and there was a large representation of Stone Oak people at those public hearing meetings. Question at that time was that the original plan for Stone Oak included the water tower would be in the Stone Oak property.
Is that Stone Creek or Stone Oak?
Stone Creek, I'm sorry, Stone Creek. And there was such a vast number of people complaining about that in Stone Creek that it was moved to outside. Now, I'm curious about one thing, and maybe Grant can answer the question. How much additional cost is going to be put into building this tower outside of Stone Creek that could have been avoided had we placed it in where it was supposed to have done originally? I mean, you're talking pipelines, things like that.
To answer your question, yes, there is a pipeline required to tie into the city's water system. Since it's this new location is going to be further north of Stone Creek Ranch, there is going to be an additional cost. Yes.
Okay, but you don't know how much additional cost it is.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. No more questions.
But we now have a property that is no longer owned by Stone Creek or any other property. It's now
Oh, it belongs to the city now.
belongs to it.
Yeah.
Okay. I need some guidance, Christina or legal. I cannot find the motion. I find the motion for the second one.
Here.
What page is it on?
25. Do you want me to make?
It's right here.
25 has item 6 as the topic and not item 5.
Item 5 was the public hearing. Item 6 is
We're on.
consideration. So it would be item 6.
You're right. Okay. I just was checking. Then I saw it as 6 and I thought that was the wrong one. Okay. I will welcome the motion is on the bottom of page 25. I'll welcome the motion. Linda?
Okay. I move to approve a recommendation to the City Council on a proposed amendment to the comprehensive plan to designate a land use classification of common facilities for approximately 2.923 acres located in the southern portion of 329 Ammon Road, Kendall County, Texas.
And a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. And then any further discussion?
Excuse me, who seconded it? I heard 2 voices.
I'll take it.
David?
Thank you.
Any further discussion? I'll call a vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then that passes unanimously. We can move on to our item 7 then. I'll get this right. Item 7, beginning on page 26. And on item 7, we're talking about going into the zoning part of this discussion, where we are considering a public hearing on the zoning request from the applicant and property owner, the City of Fair Oaks Ranch, to designate approximately 2.923 acres located in the southern portion of 329 Ammon Road, Kendall County, Texas, as community facilities. So I would like to open a public hearing for that, and it is 6:50 right now to open it. Comments from Jessica, please?
Yes, I do have a presentation. I can go through it briefly.
Okay.
Okay. Again, Jessica Relucio, City Planner for the City of Fair Oaks Ranch. This item here is a city-initiated item to designate zoning for the same property as we just discussed, approximately 2.923 acres. This item begins on page 26 of your agenda packet. And correct, the applicant property owner is the City of Fair Oaks Ranch. And we just covered the flume designation, public hearing for community facilities. Now to follow is to designate zoning as community facilities to align with the flume. And the property is located southern portion of 329 Ammon Road, Kendall County. This mirrors the previous presentation. So the city purchased the property in June 2025. Annexation began August 21st and was finalized and complete September 4th. And then we just covered the flume designation hearing, and now this is the zoning designation hearing. Some background on zoning. Following the comprehensive plan, which includes the flume amendment, zoning regulations became effective. Initial zoning designation or any rezoning must align with flume, and previous rezones happen to be also Oak Bend, the Arbors, and Post Oak more recently. And the process to do zoning is to go through public hearings by P&Z and City Council. Once more, here's an imagery example that we have here of the flume, currently undesignated in the red box. And now the city's proposing to designate zoning of community facilities for the area, which aligns with the flume as we just covered as well. And it's the same description here, which is intended for facilities that provide governmental, religious, educational, healthcare, social services, and special facilities. And the proposed use of the area is to be for an elevated storage tank for municipal water. And the criteria for review includes ensuring that the zone designation is consistent with the proposed flume community facilities. Also, to ensure that the zone designation is consistent with the comprehensive plan, principles, goals, and objectives, specifically the environmental protection, economic development, and civic public spaces as provided in the comprehensive plan. And these are also similar to what we just covered in the flume, which includes to preserve and protect waterways and floodplains, groundwater resources, promote and encourage water conservation practices, and ensure quality development in the area. Next, the criteria for review includes the UDC, and this ensures to be consistent with a comprehensive plan, promotes health, safety, general welfare for the city, and is compatible and conforms with the uses being proposed. And also the infrastructure, including the roadways, sewer, water, stormwater facilities, is going to be available and adequate for the proposed use. And public notices were provided as well. September 19th, mailers were sent out to property owners within 200 feet, and public entities were informed. A newspaper notice was provided September 21st. The city's website was updated, and a sign on the property was provided as well. Lastly, the next steps include going to City Council for public hearing of the flume amendment and zoning designation, and possible action on the first reading of the ordinances. And then November 20th, City Council will consider and act on the final reading of each ordinance. And that concludes this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. As this is a public hearing, would nobody has signed up to speak. Is there anybody who would like to speak at this time? Bearing that there are none, I would like to close the public hearing. It's at 6:55. We will close it, and then we will move on to our consideration of the topic and regarding the recommendation to the city council on a zoning request from the applicant and property owner, the city of Fair Oaks Ranch, to designate the acreage, 2.923 acres on the southern portion of 329 Ammon Road, Kendall County, Texas, as community facilities. So any discussion we want to have on that? Yes, Eric?
One quick question. The background states that there is an adjacent property with City of Bernie that has other infrastructure. Could you identify where that is on the?
Yeah, so
Map.
that's that pink,
That's where they've
we're
started
putting it
tearing
up
down
right
all
now.
the trees, right?
The pink portion in the corner lot, yes. Mhm.
The pink
Oh.
with the stripes?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Is that those two tanks that are being put in there?
I'm not sure what their exact plans are, but they are also proposing something similar.
It says a pump station and ground storage tanks.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Then the motion this time is on page.
I've got it.
46. Right under item 8.
You're on a roll.
You want to do it again, Linda?
Okay. I'd like to make a motion. I move to recommend approval to the city council on a zoning request from the applicant and property owner, the city of Fair Oaks Ranch, to designate approximately 2.923 acres located in the southern portion of 329 Ammon Road, Kendall County, Texas, as a community facilities.
Okay, a second?
I second.
Okay, Shauna will second. Any discussion? With that, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that will then pass. And so now we move on to the last topic. This is a quick meeting tonight.
This was pretty quick last.
His was pretty quick last time.
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing is the consideration and possible action on the selection of the Planning and Zoning Commissioner Chairperson and Vice Chairperson. I first want to let you know that I have enjoyed, no, I'm not sure I should say enjoyed, but I have worked hard and did have some enjoyment in working with the staff in working on the UDC. That was over a 3-year project, and I chaired it during that whole time. And I have told you before, I will not serve. I need to step down. I will not serve again, so we need to pick someone to serve. And as a vice chair, I personally would like to put in nomination David Horwitz to serve as chair. He's been my right hand the whole time, and he's very analytical, and I have thanked him 100 times for a lot of the feedback that he's given me, and I think he would be very good at taking over this, but I will also open the nominations to any of you all.
Oh.
In addition, before you go on, we do have a new member, and I usually contact the new member and give them some orientation. I have been out of the country until last night, so I have not done that. I failed. I kind of feel like I failed in my job, and since I'm staying on, I will be happy to meet with whoever's chair and also meet with the new member as he joins the commission, mainly just to give background. I think with Eric and Shawnee, I met with you over the phone or in person or whatever, but we attempted and gave you some background during it, and I don't like you walking in totally cold, not knowing what we're doing. So with that, I open it up for nominations, and I place David Horwitz in there, and anybody else would like to nominate?
I'd like to say something. Both you and I have been on this for, what, 8 years now?
I don't count anymore.
Well, what I'm thinking is that I would be perfectly happy to stay on as the vice chair and do analytical work and those kinds of things, but I think it's time for us to bring somebody else in as a chair, just move on to the next generation, if you want to call it.
Chapter.
That's
P&Z.
correct. We went through the hell of changing the UDC, and I think that's over for the time being. So what we'll be doing over the next probably year or so is normal, I'll call it normal business,
I
but
thought
I'm not,
comprehensive plan's coming.
I'm sure it is, but separate subject.
Yeah, they're all nodding their head. That's.
That's pretty sneaky.
But what I'm saying is that I think it's time for, I'll assist as the vice chair, but it's time to bring somebody else in as chair.
Do you have a recommendation for chair?
Eric
Eric?
or Shawana?
Eric, may I nominate you?
I can't really right now, time-wise. I know you guys put a lot of time into the preparation, and thank you for thinking of me, but I can be on the committee, but I don't think I can do it at this time.
Can you, Shawana?
I'd be honored to. I would like to sit down and discuss what that looks like. Time commitment wise, I mean, you're always on cruises, so it can't be that time consuming.
Oh, that's kind of
I was kidding. I'm kidding, no, but
What I'm saying is that there are several people on this committee who are, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I'm more than willing to do the work. And we got Bobby over there. I think he's too busy to do it himself. But he's an excellent source of information. And we got Grant over there, who is also a great source of information. So there's a lot of help around when you need it.
Let me just add so you understand a little bit of the workload. Sitting up here is not, tonight it was just, I walked in. Normally I don't do that. Normally I am meeting with staff at 5. And so it's an early meeting with staff, which I have totally appreciated. And sometimes during going through the UDC, we met several times during the week to just understand and what's going on and working with it. And then, of course, we worked with Lotta and the other sons. So from my perspective, there was a commitment of time involved. It's not just running this meeting. I found, I found sometimes I was spending over 10 hours a week on it, which I thought was a little, because I didn't anticipate I would have to do that much research, but I had at one time. So there is a time committee. Staff, though, is wonderful. I know Grant's here. Jessica is here. They've been, and Carol, who's not here tonight, has been just wonderful taking time with me. I think sometimes I put training wheels on them and sometimes they put training wheels on me. So it was a give and take all the time, learning about where we were going forward as we were going forward on this UDC. And so especially if the comprehensive plan comes up, that's going to be, again, another training, another commitment to go through with it. And even the legal team, you weren't the legal during most of it, but yeah, we relied on legal a whole lot and talked with them beforehand. So there was a lot to learn.
Well, I think one other thing that came about is that we now have Jessica here, which is a great help with the planning. Grant is doing a very good job as far as the engineering group is concerned, him and Lee. But I think over the period of the years, the staff has improved significantly.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
I can see how there are huge changes in the way the staff has been working.
Yeah, having Jessica on board has made a big difference
So, and
because we were learning that role. We all took that learning curve.
I also think that the load on the chairman is going to be significantly less this year, simply we don't have the UDC to deal with all the time. So,
Can I make a suggestion of, I appreciate what the Vice Chair, David, has said, and I agree with that, but maybe to bring someone in, what about if you would do the one-year term as chair, bring in a new vice chair, and kind of learn that person up so that they're ready to take over a year from now? So you don't have a new person in the box, completely new, but if it was Shauna, which would be great, would have some time to be mentored and to learn over the year the experience you've already
Yeah, and that
provided.
was my thinking, yeah.
I think that'd be
Why I
a little more
nominated
seamless,
David.
I think.
Yeah.
hey,
Not put that much pressure. Puts pressure on you, but not as much on.
But David understands what the comprehensive plan is.
Yeah, but it meets your goal of new leadership. It's just a transition to it, to do it. So,
Twist the arm.
that far.
So when y'all meet, do y'all, like with staff and stuff, do both of y'all meet together with staff or
No.
just the chair?
Sure.
And then you relay back to him?
Usually what I've been doing as far as the, whatever work I'm looking at, I've done a lot of work in going through and outlining and detailing what changes are going to be necessary, what I think has to be done, and try to categorize them to basically simplify how we have to deal with, say, city
And
council.
Very analytical and very good in catching all kinds of things. You're so detailed. You've been wonderful.
That's got its good points and its bad points. Okay, I can go along with that.
Okay.
Putting somebody as the vice chair, and like I said, I can't see where our workload is going to be all that great over the next year or so.
I think it's a
No.
better transition than popping someone new into the captain's chair.
Okay,
Yeah, I tend to agree totally because, especially, I mean, Jessica's new too, so everybody's got their training wheels on, so that'll be good.
If it helps or hinders anything in the process, or as far as the comprehensive plan goes, that is not in the current year's budget. It is in the near horizon, but I don't expect heavy-duty work on the comp plan in the upcoming year, other than perhaps planning the scope of work for that activity. Most of that will probably be coming in the 26-27 horizon.
So would
Just
you,
to give you a ballpark.
so with that being said, would it make sense to have, since it's gonna be in the coming years, not this next year, would it make sense to have the chairperson already start working with y'all ahead of the comprehensive plan to understand what's going on?
Yeah,
the
I mean, I
coming
think
years?
ultimately we'll work with, of course, the entire commission through that process, but I think both the chair and the vice chair obviously will be the leaders of that process, and we'll build up to that. But I'm thinking, I don't have the timeline nailed down yet, but probably next summer is when we'll start discussing the process and the timeline for that, how we're going to get your input on how we should facilitate community discussions, consultants, if applicable, that type of thing. So in order to kick off for what would probably be a fall 26, maybe winter 27 horizon.
Okay. I'm
But-
good.
But I think that transition would be good, I guess, to answer your question a little more directly.
The transition of David going,
Of the, well, having the leadership in place, whoever that
Okay.
shall be. So
Okay.
if you're thinking about that process, having someone who's willing and able to take that ball going into the following fiscal year, I think would be helpful.
I think I'm comfortable, I know, whatever the consensus is, but I'm comfortable stepping into the role as long as I have the support. As long as I can lean on you and I can I have the support to answer all the questions that I have. I'm okay stepping into that role. I just need to know that that support's going to be there.
Oh, so there's a question.
Okay, well, right now, I formally made a nomination. So if you want to make another nomination, we
We
need to
didn't have a
formally make it,
second.
and then we'll,
We didn't have a second.
oh, I didn't have a second.
You can
I forgot
now.
to call for a second, okay.
So I
Anybody?
interrupted you.
Thanks a bunch.
Though Eric may have been your second, because he also recommended David.
Okay. We didn't formally do it right, so, okay, pardon me. Okay, so let's start at the beginning again. I put David's name in. Is there a second for David's nomination?
For which position?
Chair. At
I
the
think in
beginning
light of what we
opened
said,
up-
and if Shauna, I think.
Yeah, but
that's-
I opened up originally and put David's name in for the chair, so I want to go through the process
Okay.
correctly. Okay, is there a second for David's nomination? Okay, there is no second for David's nomination, so then we have to start fresh. What are we doing next? Who has a nomination?
Nominate Shauna as chair and David as vice chair.
But we do one at a time,
Shauna as chair.
okay? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
very hesitant.
And then, so Shauna, you'll take over as chair, and then as vice chair. Somebody want to nominate the vice chair?
I will. I move to recommend David Horwath to serve as P and Z Vice Chairman until the period.
In perpetuity.
Okay, until is selected at the first meeting of 26, 27. Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? Call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, welcome.
Yay.
Anna as chair, and to David as vice chair. And I know not only will I support you because I'll still be around, but I know for sure the staff is always ready to help on everything. The staff's been wonderful, and I want to thank them all for their really support into going through all this. Okay, with that, we can conclude this P and Z meeting at 7:13. And unless somebody has some other business, let's adjourn. I don't take any, I can just adjourn the meeting, so I will adjourn the meeting at this time. Heck.